Kia ora from the sunny Hamilton. I'm Milla, and this is Design Thinking 101, what it is and why is it part of the MindLab program. What is design? Herbert Simon defines design thinking in terms of goals. Maybe design means the courses of actions aimed at changing existing situations into preferred ones. Maybe it means understanding the nature of preferred situations and the principles through which we achieve them. Maybe it means understanding things, how they are and how they work. In contrast to analysis, which works to deepen our understanding of what is, design is more concerned with the question, what if? And while the critical analysis is still undeniably an important component of anything learning and also design, divergent creative thinking skills are equally essential, and some say that those are not emphasized enough in our today's educational systems, and therefore there's a need for design thinking. So what it is, this man here is the grandfather of design thinking, David Kelly, the founder of IDEO, a company who, for example, created the first Apple computer's first mouse, 82. And recently IDEO has started working with healthcare organizations, educators and so on. Kelly knows that there's many definitions for design thinking, and he says that everybody has their own, but it's a method for how to come up with ideas. These are not just ideas, but breakthrough ideas with design thinking that are new to the world, especially with respect to complex projects and problems. That's when you really need multidisciplinary teams, which they have at IDEO. And you really need to build prototypes and try them out with real users. This guy here is Tim Brown. He's the current CEO of IDEO. And in his TED Talks and such, he many times mentions how design thinking has its origins in training and professional practice of designers, but that these principles can be practiced by anyone and extended to every field of life. In his book, Change by Design, he says that finding ways to apply the principles of design thinking to the problems of society. On the outskirts of Kampala, in the offices of the Social Venture Fund in New York, or in the classrooms of an elementary school in California. It's the sort of a problem like that that is attracting the most ambitious designers, entrepreneurs and students today. One of IDEOism that they have is that all of us are smarter than any of us. That's why they, for example, created that open IDEO that we looked at briefly on the crowdsourcing week. According to Kelly, people with creative confidence have a greater impact on the world around them, whether that means getting involved their child's school, turning storage room into a vibrant innovation space, makerspace maybe, or harnessing social media to recruit more bone marrow donors. I'm glad that some of you had the courage to add your faces into that, our own crowdsourcing page. David Kelly says that we need to develop leaders for society's challenges. He says that the belief system about one's own ability to affect change and have a positive impact on the world is the byproduct of creative confidence. The thing that he wrote a whole book about. One other book, good one, is this one. This guy is Ewan McIntosh. He's the founder of Notosh and CEO there. He's written a book which is called How to Come Up with Great Ideas and Actually Make Them Happen. He tells stories how they helped people to look at beyond just not having enough time and having immediate success, and how it's really important to see that someone next door is doing something already. Of course, all of that can be created by design thinking, and there's different models. So Macintosh has and Notosh have their own model, IDEO has their own, and we've created our own, and it looks like this. That's our KITE model that asks you to emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and reflect. And ideation is in the middle, not in the beginning, as we many times think. Reflection is also at the end, so try to resist that mindset of like, stopping and thinking like, how could I use this in my classroom? Instead, there's a time at the end to think about that. When you are in process of being a designer and customer, embrace those roles and be teacher afterwards. It's an iterative and looping process. Even if today's workshop is a quick one and we solve something probably a bit smaller than just something that the whole humankind has issues with, it's a looping process. Even this video is, and even these tasks and everything, they're probably the 10th version we're running at the Mind Lab. It's every time we get it a bit better. Kelly says that there's a notion about design thinking that it's a cookbook where the answer falls out the end. But the truth is much messier than that. As you go along, even if you're not getting anywhere, even if you haven't unlocked new inside of, or if the prototype hasn't unlocked a clear path that everyone agrees on, you have to stay there. Design thinking is not a linear path. It's a big mass of looping back and forth in different places in the process. And remember to be a good customer. Give meaningful feedback. The designer can't read your mind. If you don't have the courage to talk about meaningful problems, those can't be solved. So it's a kind of a test for your vulnerability. Try to be vulnerable. You should also embrace change. Be ready to learn, test, and try new ideas that are suggested to you. Try to be your true self, since I'm hoping that there's some real problems that arise today. And when they do, there's also an opportunity for us to solve those together. And at least you'll learn something new, I hope. Enjoy the ride.